today. And it's so much I could say about each and every one of them, but that would take a while. And I want to maximize the time that we have with them opposed to reading their bios. We can provide those with you. You know, some people got to know who these people are. Trust and believe. You got the best of the best sitting on this stage. And I'm going to allow them to go, each one of them, and introduce themselves. And those of you that has a line of profession that we brought you here for, you could say what that is. And then, of course, we're mixing the old and the new together today. We got our young girls that we're making impartation to, and they're going to share with us. Because how many of you know we older people got to learn? Is this mic on? We got to learn, and we want to learn from them today. Okay, we're going to start with Dr. Plum to introduce herself, and we're just going to go around.
Hi, good morning, everyone. Good morning. My name is Dr. Burnett Kuntz. I am an intuitive chiropractor. I also work with women and men that have dysregulated nervous systems. What that means is that we're all living in a society where we're overstimulated. We have all of these high functioning capabilities, but inside our nervous system is not handling life very well. So I work with men and women, specifically women, because that is my heart space. And, I help us to return back to our foundation because we need to remember who we are.
Okay.
Amen to that.
Thank you. Thank you. She has a chiropractic practice. So we'll come back to her, all right?
Hello, my name is Eva Sampson, and I'm 12 years old. And I am very grateful to have this opportunity to be on this panel today, and I hope you enjoy what we all have to say. Thank you.
Okay.
Good afternoon. My name is Mondrisha Carver, Dr. Mondrisha Carver. I am a therapist, I am a social worker, and I am a case manager. So I come with lots of resources and hopefully the ability to touch your minds, souls, and be able to bring some oneness between us. But most importantly, I am a mother of 3, and I do have my 2 beautiful daughters here with me today. But I look forward to what we're all able to share and learn from each other today.
Good morning. My name is Sheila Powell, and I am an ordinary person. I'm a mother of 2 adult children. One is an attorney, and the other is an architect. I'm an accountant. My job is to support as God leads me. You know, I'm supporting my Baldy with Purpose team. I'm supporting you if you ask me to, because God asked me to do that. So,
Good morning, everyone. Good morning. I'm Dr. Yvonne Benton. I am trained as a pastoral counselor, but most of all, I'd like to say that I'm a fighter and I'm a survivor. And I would be privileged to share with you my survival journey, hoping that it will empower you to do the same. God bless you.
Bless.
Hello guys, good morning. I am Lyric Tay and I'm 17 years old. I go to Douglas County High School and I'm a cheerleader. And so I have a lot to say today, so I hope you guys here to listen. The older generation would like for the younger kids to listen and teach, so I want to teach you guys something as well. Thank you.
God bless you. Yes, absolutely. Well, let's kick this off. Well, first of all, I want to just start out by saying again, we welcome each and every one of you here to this platform because we know each of you have something very important. I want to know, can you share a moment in your life when you realized as a woman or a girl that you had to really put yourself first? Is that one thing that comes to mind where you realize that you had to be the most important person? I want to start with you, Dr. Yvonne, if you don't mind, because she's a 2-time cancer survivor. Yes, let's give her a hand. This is a fighter. Yes, would you kick us off with that question? Let's have that one. Let's try that one. Yes, that one works.
Thank you. I've had to put myself first in many instances because, first of all, I know what I can do. And it's been a journey with my family because everybody wants to look after you and they don't always know what's good for you. But you have to trust yourself. I am indeed a 2-time cancer survivor, breast cancer, and also something called MDS, myelodysplasia, which is cancer of the bone marrow. And every time I see Dr. Canyon, I'm surviving something. I'm 3 weeks past surgery for total knee replacement.
Oh, wow. Look at
I have a
God.
scar to prove
You
it.
have the scar to prove it. Oh, my goodness. Look
But
at
you have to be your own advocate. You know your body, you know your life. You have to be your own advocate. Listen to your body, listen to others, but also listen to yourselves.
Wow, wow, wow. Would you want to piggyback on that?
Well,
She's also a survivor.
I too am a cancer survivor. It's been over a year and 4 months. And my journey of even learning about me having a cancer, if you notice, I call myself an ordinary person because I just live my life as such no matter what comes my way, you know. And my journey, I got in a bad car accident. And when I got into that car accident, I went to the hospital and learned that I had cancer. Now, before I had cancer, I'm an alopecian. Everyone thought after I lost my hair, I was losing my hair because I had cancer. Well, cancer didn't come until afterwards. So my journey is that I constantly look up.
Yeah.
It's mind over matter for me.
Okay.
You know, I think about God. I don't think about the situation because sometimes what he does to us sometimes don't have anything to really do us to us, have anything to do with us.
Right.
It's really that he either wants someone to see something through you. And I think that's either the reason why maybe a lot of times I put things on Facebook, my journey, and I don't know what prompted me to do it, but I did.
Mhm.
And I hear more people talk about the journey, but what I wanted them to see was the God in the journey.
Mm-hmm.
You get what I'm saying? So
God has a reason for everything.
come on.
Yeah.
He definitely have a purpose, especially when you keep your eyes off the situation
Mm-hmm.
and totally trust him. You're going to have to trust him totally.
Mm-hmm.
And like you, even though they told me I'm triple negative, meaning that this could reoccur again, I'm not claiming that. I don't know what anybody else is doing,
Yeah.
but I'm not claiming that. And once again, that don't have anything to do with me. That's up to the Father.
Yeah.
You get what I'm saying?
Good. Absolutely wonderful. You want to answer that question?
Yes, and I don't know if you all know this, but we weren't prepared for these questions.
No.
So
That's
prior
right.
to you
Because
asking,
I want the heart.
prior to you asking this
Uh-huh.
question, I would almost swear by the fact that I've never done anything to put myself first.
Really?
It's always been my children. But as I sit here and think about it, when I decided to divorce after 15 years and
Mhm.
having 3 children, that very well was about me more so than anything else. I stayed much longer than I should have because I wanted that family unit. I wanted my children to have their father and things like that. But when I realized that the marriage itself was not enhancing me, but breaking me, I very much made the decision because of me to walk away from the marriage.
So you
yeah.
in that moment you decided to put yourself first because nobody
Absolutely.
else would.
Absolutely. that
And we're
was
not
about
telling
me.
nobody to go home and divorce your spouse. But what we are saying is sometimes if it ain't helping you, it's hurting you.
Absolutely.
And we got to know when to hold and we got to know when to fold. And you are important in any relationship. How many of you know that women always put themselves last? Is this mic still on? We got to learn that you are not last, that you are important to God. And a healthy relationship, you're going to benefit from it as well. Okay? Eva, would you like to answer that? I tell you what, you and Lyric, I'll save you for just a moment. What do you say about that, Doctor?
I would actually piggyback on what she said. It was my first divorce that was my realization that I was not putting myself first. And
Mhm.
because I wasn't able to put myself first, I was not able to put my children as a priority. So there was a period of time of rebirth, if you will, right? I'm a mother of many. I've birthed 6 children, and 2 of them are surrogate children. So at that time, I had 2 small children. I was going through a doctoral program, and I was married to my high school sweetheart, and we grew apart. And at times things were really ugly, and it wasn't fruitful anymore. And I think that was the aha moment for me to say, I need to sit and kind of reevaluate, where are we going? And is it in the best interest of both of us and our children? Because I think many of us who know that, children sometimes become the pawn, and they become collateral damage, and you want to do the best that you can to make sure that you're showing up in the best way possible. But if we don't take care of ourselves, we're not really showing a good representation of self-care for the ones that are looking up to us.
Okay. So putting yourself first. Now, again, that doesn't mean when you see. I want to tell y'all something very important that y'all need to get this right now. When you all go make these vows and things, you go order that that $500 cake, and you have a $3,000 reception, and your dress as long as $285. That you have no idea of what you're having to walk into. But I want to say this, even in this generation, that a covenant is a covenant. That you can't walk out of stuff that cause things get bad, because everything get bad whether you're single or not, whether you're married or not. Stuff gonna be good, sometimes stuff gonna be bad. So you want to take your vows serious. But abuse and mental anguish and all this stuff, our generation put up with a whole lot of that. But I hope that this next generation of women understand your value and don't compromise your mental health for anybody, because ain't nobody worth any of that. Okay, so that's very important. But I want to stress the fact too that honoring your vows is very, very important. Not just because you're not happy, because ain't nobody responsible for your happiness but you. Is this mic still on? You say, well, I ain't happy now. They ain't got a thing to do with nothing. Because you can be single and not happy, then what you gonna do? There's a lot of y'all single now, you ain't happy. You see what I'm saying? For better or for worse, sickness and health. Okay, what about somebody like Dr. Bennett? She's married, but she got sick. And so she expected her husband to honor his vows and don't walk out on her. Am I talking good? So I think these things are very, very important. While we have you, doctor, I want to ask you, how important is chiropractic care, and especially in the African American community? And how do we need to do better as it relates to that?
That's such a great question. And I'm going to try to keep it as short as possible because, Miss Josie, just my heart, she will know that I will go on and on about my love for chiropractic. So,
But you'll have connecting points where you can continue if
Yes.
you can't finish.
well, thank you.
Yeah.
So, chiropractic is more than adjusting the body. It's when I talk about dysregulated nervous system, what that means in layman's terms is that our nervous system is the communication to our body. It tells us what to do, how to do it, how our heart beats, how our thyroid, metabolizes. It literally is the foundation of the communication system, right? So above, down, and inside out. So when we talk about chiropractic care, we're looking from the perspective of a lifestyle. So what are we putting in our body? What are we putting on our body? What are we receiving? What are we hearing? What are we speaking? And so when we look at chiropractic from the standpoint of a lifestyle, we're looking at the mindset of how are we taking care of our temple? How are we cleansing the things that are not serving us? And so when I am seeing patients and I'm adjusting them physically, I'm actually having a connection with them spiritually, because I need to make sure that I'm grounded and I'm I have my foundation grounded, so that way whatever interference that I'm removing from the nervous system, so that way it can communicate effectively, that I'm doing that in a clear space. So it's important for us in the Black community to be able to take care of ourselves, not only for our bodies to get adjusted, but also for our mind to be right, our spirit and our connection to be right, for us to be able to have a healthy interaction with those around us. And in order to do that, we have to be able to put ourselves first, right, as a priority, right? And so it's even more so important in the Black community, because chiropractic was not necessarily originated in the Black space. And so when we come together as a unit in our community and taking care of ourselves, we're pouring into each other. Things like connecting with one another when we're having hardships, that affects how we view ourselves, right? And how we show up in the world. So when we look at the technique of chiropractic, it really is to remove the interference that's happening in our nervous system. So in short,
So stress, and
Oh,
all
absolutely.
of that, chiropractic care helps us to relieve stress. It's, again, like you said, it's not just about getting adjusted, which helps you feel better. I deal with uh, chronic sciatica, but I'm claiming healing. But so when I go get adjusted, I do feel much better.
yes.
And so those things are very important to relieving the stress and the tension that goes on in our body. Is that what I hear you saying?
Absolutely. So even in that example, if you're looking at sciatica, which most people are familiar with sciatica, right? It's numbness, tingling, sharp shooting pain going down one or both legs. So that's the physical part of it. But if we look at the emotional part, right, and the mental part of what sciatica is causing you, right, that's not quality of life, not the way that you want it to be. So it's going to change your mood, it's going to change motivation, it's going to change the way that we see how we're going up the stairs. Some people change their lives and how they're operating because of the sciatic nerve pain. But if we're able to adjust and remove that interference, right, meaning remove the pain, remove that pain signal, and actually start healing that signal, you're able to reach down, touch your toes, twist without any, interference that's pain based. You're able to have better quality of life.
It creates more quality of life and as well as mobility
Absolutely.
in the body. So you're suggesting that we do regular chiropractic care as a part of our health routine.
Absolutely.
Are y'all listening to that? Regular chiropractic care as a part of our health routine. Because most of us trying to get off a lot of this medicine that they try to give. Anybody got more than one bottle of medicine? 2, 3, 4. We keep going on and on and on because a lot of times they just shoot medicine at us.
Right.
Okay, so chiropractic care is very important. We'll come back to you in just a
Yes,
few
ma'am.
moments. Let me ask Dr. Mandricia before I get to these teenagers. I want to ask her something. Not just your physical body. She's a therapist. Why is it such a stigma to have a therapist? I know people have been told that they're crazy if they go to that. Y'all ever heard that before? If you go to a therapist, you psycho or you need help. I mean, you're just off balance. So how important is it to have a therapist?
It's very important to have a therapist. And just to piggyback on the stigma behind being crazy, I think there's a overall lack of information, a lack of knowledge base as it relates to mental health and how important mental health is. I think it's a lack of information as it relates to what causes us to end up with mental illnesses and situations that put us in depression, have us feeling anxious and things like that. Having more knowledge around these areas would help us to definitely be better in tune with what mental illness is.
How many people got a car? Most of y'all drove in here, right? So when you hear something going on in your car, you take it to the what? Shop. Because you realize that car needs maintenance or it needs personal care. Why is it that we don't do that when we have things going on in our lives that we feel stuck, we feel hung? A good therapist can help people navigate through those things. And I think that's a very, very important investment. Would you speak to that for just a moment?
Very, very. Investing in therapy is no different than investing in your vehicle, investing in your home, investing in, your outerwear, things like that. You have to invest in this up here as well. Oftentimes things are going wrong and we don't pay attention to them. For example, the lack of energy. Yeah, that could be because I'm tired, but the lack of energy could be because I'm not getting any sleep. Why am I not getting any sleep? Lack of appetite. It could be because I'm dieting, but it also could be because of depression. I'm not feeling the need to eat, having headaches could be because of sinuses and other things going on, but it also could be because of stress. Anytime we have these feelings that are outside of the norm, we need to explore, what other dot do I need to connect? Is it my mental health? And a lot of times I think that we ignore these things. And by the time we take the time to address them, we're so far gone that even other people are starting to acknowledge what's going on.
And even with being in the church, we have this thing, fake it till you make it, or shout over it, or pray about it. Don't nobody want to hear that sometimes. Can I get some people to be honest about that? If I'm in a crisis, don't be coming at me with no 200 scriptures, because I'm having trouble processing the one I already got. Can I get some honest people out there? And then let me tell you one of the most recent things. I brought Dr. Mondrisi here when I lost my precious mama. That was one of the most painful, crippling moments I ever had in my entire life. I heard about parents losing children, but nobody could prepare me because I absolutely adored my mother. And I was hung for about 8 months. I was still preaching, but I was hung. And I literally preached my mom's funeral. But one of the things one person told me, said, now you hold up now, everybody count on you, you're a pastor. I told them, let me tell you one thing. I am a daughter before I'm anybody's pastor. You hear me? And I'm not going to let you pressure me and run me crazy trying to navigate the loss of my mama. That was my mama. You understand that? And whenever I chose to cry, and sometimes I still do, I just let that moment flow. And those of you that's grieving a loss in any capacity, a divorce, a relationship, a friendship, a family member, just y'all going separate ways, that's still a loss. So do you pray about it? Of course. I'm certainly not telling you that. I'm a preacher, I'm a pastor, I know the word. We pray about everything. But sometimes you got to sit down and stuff and work through things. So you go to your therapist. You go to your chiropractor when you're not feeling good. We got to take care of ourselves. How many times does God have to keep telling you to take care of yourself? It's not going to happen if you don't do your part. Now, y'all sharp as a chitlin today. But how many of you have made an investment on your inside? That is spiritually and naturally. So we have to make those investments. So I want to say we got to see about ourselves in all capacity. I want to ask these young girls, Lyric and Eva, what are your thoughts about self-care? How are some ways you can care for yourself as a young person? Thank you so much. What are your thoughts about self-care?
Okay, so usually school can become very stressful, especially as like a kid getting ready to graduate. So usually, of course, you got to put your education first, and you have to make sure you get your work done. But if you're a kid in school, you have to make sure you have fun as well. Like go out with your friends, watch Netflix. Because if you're always focused on, work all the time, every day, all the time, you're gonna get very stressed out. You're gonna get wear down, and eventually that will take a toll on your education because you're just like, oh, I'm tired. I don't feel like doing it anymore. So you just got to take time out your day to like just make sure you put yourself first and have fun as well.
Good. That's great. That's great. Lyric, let me ask you, since you're getting ready to graduate, Lyric is, yes, and she's an honor student, and she's also been accepted in the nursing program at West Georgia. How is it, are you experiencing any anxiety as you get ready to move into adulthood? Because I want to tell you, children, after you graduate, it's a whole nother level. It's not the same. So are you getting into anxiety, or are you embracing this with confidence because you know God's got you?
I'll say it's a little bit of both because,
Okay.
some kids are like, oh, I don't want to go to college. I'm going to do trade school, whatever the case may be. So it may be like less work. But since I want to go into nursing and I want to go to college, I have a lot of steps to complete. So thinking about that, it does get a little bit like more anxious. I do get a little bit more anxious when I think about that. But I just have to make sure, like, I pray about it and like understand that like everything's under control, going to God. So yeah, I would just say like I just have to take everything one at a time.
One at a time. That's excellent. Excellent. What would you say about that to her, Dr. Mondrisa? children and young girls that are going to the next step, and I'll come to you just a moment, Eva, how do they process this next phase and going through the anxiety and peer pressure and all this stuff mentally? What would you say to young girls?
I think it's a wonderful idea to take things step by step, but also allowing yourself grace to make mistakes because we've all made them. You know, I would say staying grounded, what your parents taught you, you chew up the meat, you spit out the bones. What worked for you, you take with you. If it didn't work for you, this is your opportunity in life to change it, But I would also say not to take life so seriously. A lot of times that can cause anxiety and depression, comparing yourselves to other people and things like that. But just know that God has a plan for you, and moving that way.
Okay, thank you. Eva, what about you? During this time as a young preteen, what are some of the adversities and challenges girls your age are facing that we adults might not understand quite yet? We'd like to come into your world and find out what's going on out there.
Absolutely. I would say at school, I have experienced many things, especially friendship problems. I am still learning and have learned that you can't put your friends' problems before your happiness. Because let's say that you have one friend that's always negative, talking, oh, I feel so bad, I'm going to fail this test, I'm going to do this, and da 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 this, and all this other stuff. You have to remove yourself from them so that way that negativity doesn't get into your spirit.
Right,
Because
right. Come on.
if it does get into your spirit, it will affect the way how you act, how your education goes, how you treat other people, how you are physically and emotionally dealing with stuff. It'll affect you, and then it will just backfire and be bad.
Okay, that's excellent. That's excellent. So you have to remove yourself. That's not just for the young folk, that's for the grown folk too. Shoot, I got a lot of folk. I'm gonna do a paper doll on this year. I'm gonna cut some people out. Y'all got anybody on your list? They finna get deleted, but I'm sorry. Some people just wait. And I just don't want you in my life at this phase. I'm too old to be carrying everybody. I don't want to do it. I just don't. Am I talking good? You got to put yourself first. If helping you is hurting me, I got to cut you. I don't mean no harm. I ain't trying to be ugly, but you got to go. Okay? So I think that's important that these young girls understand it. What about body shaming, Lyric? Is that a part? Lyric is a cheerleader, and Lyric is really ripped. She has amazing physique, but that changes over time with us girls, But how does body shaming and self-esteem play into young women nowadays?
That is a really big thing in high school, like especially when it comes to like what boys have to say, because girls in my school they really care about boys' opinions. So like, say a boy says, "Oh, she has no butt," or "She's so skinny," or "She's so big," and usually the girls are just like, "Oh, I have to work out, or I have to eat more to gain weight." Like it's a real thing, and it's just like people have to realize like if you like how you look and you like yourself as a person, you shouldn't worry about what others have to say about
Come
you.
on. Yes,
So,
yes. Excellent.
yeah, that really does take a toll on a lot of girls. But I like how I look. Like I'm confident in myself. So
Amen.
I just think like not just people in high school. Like I'm sure like adults, y'all might have problems with weight gain, weight loss. Like y'all should just be confident in yourselves and just like again, don't care about what others have to say about you.
That's excellent. Excellent. It's very important to be that grounded. I wasn't that grounded at her age, but I'm glad that she has a good root system and don't allow that to affect them, especially these knuckleheads. That don't matter what they saying. But girls can be equally as mean. They really can. Sister Sheila, let's talk about our alopecia for a moment. Y'all see this? Y'all see this ball? Y'all see this? Y'all see this? Yes. And so we not scared. And a lot of you are dealing with alopecia. I was not prepared for it mentally because I've always rocked my styles. I've always been fashionable. And when I lost my hair, I really went into a depression. And the devil said, "What are you going to do now?" And as a matter of fact, that's in one of my books. And I let the devil know that I'm not my hair. And you have to be okay with whatever you're dealing with right now. It might not be alopecia, but it might be something. What kind of mindset do you have, first of all, to dig out of what you've been through and to deal with baldness?
Well, that was quite a struggle for a minute. I'm just going to say for a minute because I don't let things stay on me long. Okay.
That's good.
I had a situation where when I was losing my hair, I had my children. I had no idea. I didn't want to do wigs. I didn't want to do extensions or any of that, but I found that I had absolutely no option. And then when it got to the point where I just can't do it anymore, I have a twin that a lot of people don't know that I lost, okay, about 12, 15 years ago. Okay. Don't beat me up, girl, because I can't get the exact date. But I have a twin that I lost. And in my spiritual going, it was in her, it was in my spirit that she was just saying, let it go. You're going to be beautiful. Cut it off. So I'm in a mirror, mind you, with a eyebrow tweezer or whatever it's called, an eyebrow shaver. And I'm shaving my head with that. And I look in the mirror, now what? What am I going to do now? And it was hard. And she said, you're going to walk in it. And that was the God's spirit as well. Just walk in it. So I also had to learn that if I walked out in the street and out in this world with my head down, everybody's going to start looking at me like there was a problem. Mm-hmm. So I had to start walking out there with my head up as if I didn't. I literally have days I don't even realize I'm bald. I forget until someone look at me and holler, "You're gorgeous." I say, "Oh, I'm bald." You know, that's what it is. So I really had to learn to step out, walk in it, keep my head up. And even though my children are young adults, I'm constantly feeling that I have to teach them how to deal with adversity.
Yeah.
So my struggle with the alopecia came that I asked a friend or two. I went to work. I told them, I said, hey, listen, there's going to be a new girl coming in tomorrow. She's going to look just like me, but she's not going to have hair. So I did. I walked into work, no hair, and of course everybody was, oh, you're beautiful. And I'm like, oh, I am? What happened is they tend to see your face over all the extra hair. Mm-hmm. And they also tend to see your personality over all the extra hair. So I've learned to just walk in it, deal with it. And again, it was teaching my children. And can I back a little bit? See these two? I wish my daughter had them. When you're talking about pressure, I wish my daughter had them when she was in school. Depression. Try not to cry.
It's okay.
She went through it. Well, I literally had to lay my body down on the floor and give her to God, because I didn't know what my baby was going to do. She was depressed. She didn't want to be here no more.
Oh, wow.
I wish to God that this mindset of this young lady and this young lady was around her. But God, let me tell you what made me even happy and praise and jump. I called one day. She has gotten past this. It was still hard, but she was getting better. My daughter said, I went to see a psychologist. And I cried. And I don't mean to bring this back, but I thank God so much that she stepped, I don't mean to be all over the place,
no,
that
that's
she
okay.
stepped out and found somebody to talk to other than mama, because everything mama said wasn't right.
No.
I looked it up, researched it. No, it wasn't right. No, it's not right. You don't get it. You don't understand. It wasn't right. And I laid my face down and gave her to God. Mm-hmm. And God turned my baby engaged. We'll be married in October. Yeah. She is beautiful. I absolutely love her. So I don't worry about it. When you said to yourself, when do you put yourself first? I don't know. I just give it to God. I have to. I have no other option, because that's where my best outcome was in seeing her going to a psychologist.
Yes, isn't that great? She went and got the help that was necessary for what she needed. Okay, Dr. Yvonne, would you speak to? Was there any time during this cancer journeys? Was it any time where you was at your lowest, in a season of depression or any of that? What kind of mindset did it take to pull you out of it?
Absolutely. The first cancer, the breast cancer, actually, I was diagnosed the day after we buried my mom.
Mm. Oh.
And the grace in that is the doctor did not tell me I had cancer. They told me I had a mass. So I didn't have to hear the C word. And I think that's grace because I don't know how devastated I would have been. But at that point, okay. They said lumpectomy, okay. Chemo, okay. And I never really processed cancer as cancer. And I think that was a survival tactic for me. I was in school at the time. I didn't miss any classes. I kept
Wow.
doing what I was doing, went through chemo. And at the end of chemo, I thought, okay, this is it. I'm good. And the doctor says, you have three options. He said, radiation,
Mm-hmm.
mastectomy, or you can do nothing at all. I said, I'll take the mastectomy. As a matter of fact, I'll take a double mastectomy because I don't want to go through this again.
Right.
And that's what I did, and I was okay with that. I never feared anything about that. I was okay with it. It was just something I had to go through, and I was okay with that. And I think it's important that we adopt a mindset that it's not woe is me. I introduce myself as a survivor because
Mm-hmm.
that's the mode that I'm in. That's the mode that I was in.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't know how many years cancer free.
Glory to God. That's a
Until-
hand clap right there.
That was 2008. Fast forward 2020, during the pandemic, I went to my PCP, and it's very important that we have doctors that we trust and know our history. And she said to me, she said, you've always been anemic, but I don't like the way your blood is looking. She said, I want you to go see a hematologist who happens also to be my oncologist, but she was not practicing hematology. And my doctor said, yeah, I see what she sees. I want you to go to a practicing hematologist. I went to a hematologist, and he said, yeah, I see what they saw, and you have MDS. The survival rate is probably about 5 years. It's curable, but not with a woman of your age. I was 72. Said the only thing that we could offer you would be a transplant, but at your age, you probably couldn't endure a transplant. And then the pandemic hit, and the way transplants work, they have to kill your immune system. And can you imagine getting your immune system killed
During the pandemic.
during the pandemic?
My God.
And then everybody that was on the transplant list all of a sudden was not anymore. Fast forward, fortunately, my son was a 50% match, and they said, we'll go with him. As a matter of fact, they didn't even recommend that I have a transplant. But let me tell you what really happened. I was talking to my hematologist one day, and I am a alumni cheerleader for the Atlanta Falcons. I was one of the first blacks in 1967. They-
Don't she look wonderful? Yes, she does.
So I just happened to small talk with the hematologist, and I mentioned that. And at that point, he decided that I had the stamina that I could go for a transplant. And I did have the transplant with my son, and they told me that there will be a time when you hit rock bottom. And I did. After the transplant, I was in the hospital for 28 days. The second week, I was totally depressed and did not know it. I didn't answer the phone. I didn't turn the TV on. I would only do what they asked me to do.
And
in a
I didn't hear
mechanical
from
way.
her. This is one of my best friends. I didn't hear from her. And I know when she do these long gaps, something going on.
I totally just zoomed out. And you hear people say that I don't look like what I've been through.
Yeah.
I looked like what I was going through. I lost weight. I got down to 114 pounds. I was totally bald. And like my sister here, I couldn't rock it. I looked like somebody's granddaddy.
Well,
And skinny at that. But God saw me through all of that. And I would witness today that He answers prayers.
yeah.
I survived the depression that I didn't even know I was depressed. As a matter of fact, this sister here told me, "You were depressed." And I'm like, yes, I was. But I survived it all. And I thank God that He's taken me through what He's taken me through. And I'm on the other side of that.
Glory to God.
And one other thing I like to say, if you're contemplating having a procedure done, like I suffered from osteoarthritis for some years, and the only cure for that was total knee replacement, and I fought that until 3 weeks ago when I had that surgery. And my doctor told me yesterday, she said, my father had that surgery, and it took him some years to really get over it. I'm walking without a cane, without a walker.
Wow. They don't make them like that. Jesus. They don't make them like you very, very much.
My doctor asked me what was my motivation. I said, well, I'm here again, alumni cheerleader, and we're supposed to perform this year in December. So I said, let me go ahead and get the surgery so I can be on the field. So
Lyric,
I'll be on the field in December.
Lyric, that's your cheerleader mentor. That's Lyric is sitting next to two cheerleaders together. Y'all got to get a picture for sure. Eva, I want to ask you, what are some things that motivate you as a young girl, and what are some things that you wish that senior ladies or your mom and different one? I know your mama here, but what are some things that adults need to know about the challenges that young people are facing, young girls are facing now?
Well, what I do is when I go home and I'm doing my homework, I mostly just turn the TV on or put my earpiece in, listen to some music that I like. And I just sit in that and I do my work, and that motivates me, especially when I was going through grief over my great grandfather.
Okay.
And my friend problems. I would just sit down and try to think positive and listen to music and do all that. And I think that you're not too young or too old to do that. You can, whatever you do that makes you happy, you do that, and that'll help you get through anything, really.
Okay. Good. What are some things you wish adults knew about young people? You know, sometimes we just think y'all children y'all just praise the Lord. And we don't mean no harm, baby, but sometimes when you're something new, you don't understand it. So we're trying to get an understanding around here. What y'all want us to know? And you and Lyric, I'm gonna let you and Lyric talk to us. We ain't got much time, but we just tell us, and then we're gonna open the floor for your questions. Your questions need to be passed to our facilitators, and they will bring them to us so you can unpack some of your questions for the time we have left. What are some things you want grown people to know that we need to understand?
We experience a lot, especially at school. Bullying, people are still going through that, rejection, body shaming. I have a friend who sometimes she looks in the mirror at herself and she's like, oh, I look so ugly. Oh, I look so fat. And then I look at her and I tell her, no, you don't. No, you don't. You're beautiful. You don't, just because you don't look a certain way doesn't mean that you're ugly or anything.
Okay.
You have to think positive about yourself. And sometimes, like her, I do that too.
Okay.
I can't lie. I
Okay.
do that.
That's right. That's right. That's right.
And
So
I-
you want us to know that you all go through these things. How can we help you navigate through these things?
Mostly putting us in a positive surrounding.
Okay.
I would say, like, well, church is definitely a positive surrounding. I love church.
Okay.
And
Good.
just being around whenever you need them.
Okay.
basically.
So being there to support.
Yes.
Okay. What do you say to that, Lyric? What are some things you wish us grown people knew, and then you want to tell us that we need to understand?
Pretty much literally what she said, and also like when sometimes y'all be like, "Oh, you're too young to be tired. Get up, get up." It's like, man, but school be so exhausting. It's not just the work. Like,
Okay.
so my school is very populated. So when you're at school, it can be exhausting being around all those people all day long.
Okay.
Hearing a lot of talking, and like sometimes when you get home, you just want to sit and just sit in silence.
Okay.
So when it's just like, of course you gotta do your chores and everything like that. But once all that get done, I just want to go to my bed. So it's just like, you too young to, or like, oh, you too young to feel them knee pains. Man, I'm getting old, y'all. Like, I'm getting old. I feel them knee pains. Like, this is real life. Like, I cheer. So ever since I started cheering, my joints done got bad. So when I say that,
So y'all go do some of those things.
I'm being serious though, for real. Like,
Okay.
So when y'all hear me say, "Oh, my back hurt, my knee hurt," I'm being serious. I'm not playing.
So you want us? The chiropractor got you. So these joints. So you need us to understand that what we go through. You're feeling the same thing on the scale that you're on. Is that what you?
Yes, pain is not just for older people.
Okay. Okay. Physically or emotionally, right?
Both.
Both. Okay. So doctor, how do we get rid of some of these joint pains? Lyric spoke to something. She woke up something right then. By God, I used to hop out of that bed. I have to sit on the side of that baby now. So, do a little stretching. That's important for us, isn't it?
It is. It's important, and so it matters what we put into our bodies, right? So there's no surprise that in our culture we don't eat the best. We have high inflammatory foods that we consume. They taste good, but that doesn't mean that it's not high inflammation, which causes joint irritability, the achiness, less range of motion, some of the creaking and the cracking in there too. So definitely nutrition is a huge part of it. Realistically, we're not in a country. Let me just kind of isolate that a little bit. Country that prioritizes natural food sources. Okay. And so if they're not prioritizing natural food sources, then that means that the food that we're actually consuming, whether it's processed or organic in the stores, which by the way, organic label really
Marketing.
It's marketing.
Marketing.
I'm just going to say it's marketing. Okay. You want to be able to gain supplementation, right? So what I tell my patients is that there's 4 supplements that I would recommend that everyone takes is a multivitamin, omega-3, which is an anti-inflammatory. 6 and 9 are inflammatory, and that's in our foods, right? So multivitamin, omega-3, vitamin D, and yes, we have melanin in our skin, but we're still not absorbing the vitamin D that we need to, even when we get sun.
So something we need to do every single day. You're saying
These are the
vitamin
daily
D3,
vitamins.
your multivitamin, and what?
Yes, omega-3
Omega-3.
and magnesium.
Are y'all writing this down? Okay.
Okay.
Multivitamin,
Yes, ma'am.
vitamin D3.
Yes, ma'am. With K2 would be. It would optimize vitamin D with K2 because K2 will carry that product into the body. I'm not going to go down that
Okay.
road, but just know. Vitamin D with K2,
Vitamin D with K2,
omega-3,
omega-3,
and magnesium.
magnesium.
Magnesium has over 600 functions for the body. Most people know it for musculoskeletal, like if you're prone to like cramping, achiness, but magnesium helps with all different systems in the body, including brain health.
Oh,
So those
God.
would be the 4 supplements that I would recommend to take on a daily basis. Now you can have some other ones like collagen that can help with connective tissue and those type of things, but those will be the 4 main things. So that's under nutrition. But speaking of physical activity, stay active, right?
Stay
If the
active.
joints hurt, do aquatherapy. You're taking away gravity out of the equation. So those who may have aches and pains when they do walking, or when they're climbing stairs, or they're on the elliptical, or they're taking a group fitness class, or any type of physical activity that includes gravity, go to the water. You can be able to have natural resistance in the water and you're not really worried about falling. Now go in the shallow end if you don't know how to swim, right? But you can be able to get physical activity not only for your joints, so the musculoskeletal system, but your cardiovascular system, which in our society, in our culture, I see the highest in diabetes type 2, high cholesterol, and high blood pressure. All 3 of those most times are preventable. That's the thing. You don't have to be on 50, 11 million medications. Those natural now, I'm not telling you to get off your medications. What I'm saying is that add your supplementation, add your physical activity, add your wellness with your mental health, and create a team around you that's going to be conducive to returning back to health.
Okay.
Because God didn't make no mistakes.
No.
He made a perfect body.
That's
right?
right.
So it matters what we're putting inside of our body, what we're putting inside of our minds, and making sure that we're doing a cleanse. I recommend doing a detox every 3 months. It doesn't have to be a major one.
What does that look like? And we're going to take a few questions.
Yes, sure.
If you got a few questions, you can bring them on. What is a detox, real quick, doctor? And then again, all of them will be at our connecting point in our fellowship hall in just a few moments, so they can ask. You can ask them some more questions. What is a detox?
So the detox, without getting into the ingredients, because we can have a sidebar on that, but it's similar to spring cleaning. Everybody's aware of spring cleaning. Spring comes around, you look in your closet, you're like, I have not worn this since 1974. And I'm probably not going to be wearing that, right? So that's cleaning out the closet. But cleaning out your system, I would recommend most people go to GI detox, meaning like you're taking a laxative or you're taking teas. That's still going to pull some nutrition out of your digestive system that you actually need. You need good bacteria in your system, and that strips you of that. So I would look at liver and kidney detox.
Liver and kidney detox.
Because those are your filtration
Y'all writing
system.
that down?
That's your
You're
filtration
getting this
system.
empowerment. You got to take this knowledge and work it. It's not going to work itself. Kidney and liver.
Detox. And there's products we can talk about offline.
Okay.
And it doesn't have to be a major thing, but every quarter is every 3 months. Imagine we're in metro Atlanta. How much smog do we see in the air that's getting into our lungs, that's getting into our body, causing a lot of inflammation, it's causing a lot of fog, it's causing a lot of dysfunction in our organ system. So when you're thinking about doing a detox, it's not only on the body, but it's also mental health, right? Doing mindfulness, meditation, doing a retreat, doing some type of work with counseling and mentorship, right, from those who have lived through hard times. And then also the emotional side, the relationship side. We talked about friendships. So cleansing those, evaluating the relationships that you carry in your life or that you choose to have in your life, and being able to sit and have an assessment to see what is truly weighing you down that has to do with mind, body, and spirit. So
right. And
it's not just the
and
nutrition.
mindful eating is something that I've learned from Weight Watchers. Mindful eating. Because a lot of times we eat emotionally. We're not really hungry. We just got something going on. We stress and don't even remember what we ate. There's been times I've eaten something off my plate and I said, now, when did I eat that? Anybody else ever done that before? You're like, and I knew I'm not crazy, but I knew that I didn't enjoy it because I didn't remember I ate it. It was just emotional eating. And sometimes when we're in those stressful places, we have to dissect why we got to there and not try to eat it and bring another problem on, because sometimes we can eat our emotions, and that means you start gaining weight, and then that's another problem. So food don't solve everything. We got to get down to what sometimes we thirsty opposed to hungry. So I've learned that little tip. Now again, I'm nobody's therapist on no food. I'm just trying to say what I'm learning as I'm going and growing. Okay, I think that's important. And so then we get to the mental piece that, like Lyric said, sometimes you just want some peace. And so we need dealing with grief real fast, Dr. Mandricia, and dealing with protecting your peace. Can you talk to that a minute? And we're going to get some of these questions that you can bring now.
protecting your peace is extremely important. I don't know how many of you know about setting boundaries, but boundaries don't just come into play with parents and their children. Boundaries need to be set in the workplace. Boundaries need to be set in relationships. Just with yourself, spending habits, anything that's going to take from your peace, you need to set a boundary for it.
Okay.
Okay.
Okay. All right. Lyric, go ahead.
I would like to speak on the setting boundaries part. So if someone does you wrong, right? Somebody does something that's like just terribly wrong to you, right? And they say, "Oh, I'm so sorry. Like I won't do it again," right? You could forgive somebody, right? But that does not mean you have to let them back into your life. That does not mean you
That's
have
right.
to speak to them ever again. Because I would say like I've gone through a situation to where like somebody does something very terrible to me and I'm still working on the forgiving part. But I just learned, it's a thing,
That's
y'all. It's
real.
a thing.
That's real.
But yeah, I'm still working on the forgiving part. I'm slowly getting there. But I just thought about it. I was talking to my cousin the other day and my mom, and they were just like, "Well, one day maybe you will have to talk to them. Maybe you will have to, whatever it may be." And I was like, I literally told them, I was like, I mean, I can forgive them, but that does not mean I have to go and talk to them or go hang out with them because you can have that boundary, set that boundary to where you can forgive somebody, but you do not have to let bad energy back into your life.
That's absolutely correct. Absolutely, absolutely Bible. And that doesn't mean that when you know you're forgiven when you don't feel something kicking back at you. But you don't have to, I don't have to embrace you with a pattern. If you have a pattern that is offensive and have not changed, then we can't deal. But again, that doesn't mean I don't love you, but you have a routine that's not included in my life that I choose to not to be a part of. You can take that somewhere else. Okay. One or two questions, and we only have just a few minutes, so you have to hit it and quit it, and they'll be over on the other side. How do you help your kids deal with grief? How do you help kids deal with grief?
From a therapeutic side, number one, we want to make sure we're giving them the time to express how they feel. And I think oftentimes as parents, we get tied up with the hustle and bustle of what we got going on, and we expect them to just pull it together. So I think the one most important thing that you can do is give them their time and hear them.
Right.
Allow them to have the feelings that they're having. So that would be the one most
And
important
so
thing.
the next question was similar to this. What do you go from here after losing a child, mother, and father, and being the only one left in your immediate family? I want to say this. I just wrote this book after the loss of my mother. I know it would bless your lives. You need to make sure you get a copy of this, Winning the Battle of Dementia and Grief. Grief has stages. I'm not skilled from her perspective, but I'm skilled in life, and I'm paying my pain forward. You really need to get this book into your library because, again, grief has stages and phases, and they have what we call ambushes where it just come up on you. And there is no time limit with it. Some people say, "Well, you still crying about that?" Well, I am, because sometimes you're still processing, especially if you don't have the tools to navigate. So I think that's important. What would you say to that, Doctor?
I would say seek professional help. If what you're doing is not working, definitely seek professional help and don't shy away from medication. So many people say, I don't want to take a pill. Just because you take a pill doesn't necessarily mean you're going to need it all your life. There's such things as situational depression. You may just need medication to help you get through a particular situation. But then there are also chemical imbalances, which means that no matter what you do, who you talk to, it's not going to get you out of that situation or feeling the way that you feel. So be open to considering those things.
Okay, so there any additional help that is necessary?
Oh, I was just going to say, and also including in that, there's a power in community too. When we're able to share space with one another, that's also a healing space. We are our own medicine sometimes as well. So sometimes when we have hardships that happen, whether it's grief or challenging relationships, friendships, or hardships in our life, it matters if you just sit still with somebody so they can hold space for you as well.
That's great. Support is very important because sometimes women, we retreat or we isolate. We don't want to be bothered, or you cut everybody off. That's not a healthy pattern. The Bible even talks about that each joint supplies. It talks about how each member supply, that we all need each other. So it's important that you have somebody that you can air it out with and be authentically you, okay, without any judgment and all those type of things. So I think you need to find your tribe and utilize that. Okay. Now, somebody asked the young lady, Eva, you said church has helped you. In what way has church helped you?
Well, I would say definitely with just listening to the word every Sunday, I can get a message of what I'm dealing with in my own life. For example, I remember on one of the sermons, Bishop said, both of you said, not everyone is going to like you. Not everyone is going to like what you do. Not everyone is going to like how you feel. You have to say, okay. You don't have to embrace that. You can just say, okay. And I'm still learning to do that to this day. But nowadays, I can just say, okay. If you don't like me, you don't like me.
You're
That
not
doesn't
for
bother me.
everybody. You're not for everybody, right? That's right. That's why. That's why church is important. Some people mad at church and y'all find everything wrong with us. But let me tell you one thing: it's still the best thing smoking. Y'all go to your job, and them people don't even like you. Not for real though. I just had a person. I'm getting ready to bury one of my spiritual daughters. We just lost her the other day, and that girl worked for 30 years on her job. And when she got sick, she fell. She fell on the job. You know what the supervisor told her? You need to resign. The job don't love you, but you go every single day. But you find everything you can wrong with the church. If I was Satan, I would tell you the same lies to keep you out of here. Because the church is your lifeline, and y'all girls better hurry up and get your raggedy self back in the house of God. You need the word of God. This kid is wiser than some of you old ones. You need the house of God. Don't let nobody run you out of church. Ain't nobody that bad. Am I talking good? I might not even like you. I can go on the other side of the church, but you're not going to run me out. You ain't going to run me out of the choir. You ain't going to run me. If God told me to get in there, I'm going to hold down my tenor section. You can roll your eyes. You can snap your neck. You can pop your finger, but baby, you ain't that bad because the church is my lifeline and I'm staying. Somebody got to go. I'm going to tell you like Beyonce, you must don't know about me. To the left, to the left, to the left. Negro, you get out. I'm not going. And what that girl say? You gonna love me, and you gonna love me. Am I talking good? You just fold up on everything. But the church is still the best thing out. Y'all stop letting people run y'all out of your church. And quit all this church hopping. Get in the house of God. I don't believe in God. I'm in the universe. I'm gonna tell you one thing. The universe ain't gonna come get you when you're in trouble. You gonna need Jesus. They need to tell them folks in the White House, you need Jesus. Am I talking good? He's still the answer. I'm not gonna preach right now. Y'all be back in a little bit because I'm gonna preach this afternoon and I got something good to tell you. Because God is wanting to do something in the earth that we've not seen before. And He wants to help us. Every one of them have left an impartation. We're out of time. We get ready to go. Dr. Robin is coming now to make another impartation of something I think is very important. You need to stay woke. You can shout all you want to, but God ain't gonna do everything. You're gonna have to go to the voting hole. My mama would say. My mama was 94. She said, "Yo, carry me to the voting hole." Well, she never missed the vote. And I want Dr. Robin to come up and share with you a few things about why it's important for you to be connected in your community. You got to get out of the walls of these churches and take the Holy Ghost to the streets. So I'm using every platform I can. Come on, Dr. Robin. She's going to share a few things with us, and we're going to take a few minutes break, and we're going to come back and finish up. Give her that mic.